Today we're working on a 2013 Cadillac ATS. My wife and I have owned the car a couple, 3 months, and I'm one of these guys that is just fortunate enough to have a lift in his garage. There's a shifting shutter that initiates at low RPM, where it goes to a higher gear and so forth, and a little bit of shudder. All the forums say it can be remedied with a simple fluid change, so that's exactly what we're going to try to do. I was pleasantly surprised that there's not a shield under this like most BMWs that I'm accustomed to. So I'm not an authority on lift points or any service that's rendered in the whole process of this video. So I'm going to encourage you to seek the competent professional's advice on any questions that you may have. This is just for educational purposes only. Do it at your own risk. First things first, you're going to need a 14 millimeter. This is a 14 millimeter 9/16, the unibit, the whatever the hell they're called. 10 millimeter, as you suspected. Ratchet always helps, and you know, I use those guys. I like to get it out fast and all that kind of stuff. So we're going to go ahead and take out the drain. Drain plug's at the back of the pan. I've already got it loosened, and we're just gonna. Why did I not get my gloves? Huh. I'm gonna grab my gloves. A socket and ratchet, 14 millimeter. Now we're just gonna pull that out, and it doesn't look horrible, but it does have a little brown discoloration to it. It's not the red that we'd really like to see. We're gonna let that drain commence to the next step. By the way, while we're here, there is, let's see if you can see it, right there is your fuel plug. We're going to cover that in the next few steps. I'm going to use this lube guard in there. I've always used lube guard. This is a synthetic ATF protectant along with the Valvoline Max Life. It's compatible with the Dextron 6. Using a O'Reilly's Power Torque automatic transmission filter kit. Never had any trouble with O'Reilly's parts, and you can use AC Delco or GM or whatever you prefer, but I just thought, well, as often as I plan on changing things and keeping fluid dropped in and all that kind of stuff, I'm probably just going to use that because it's going to get changed at some point if we can keep this car for any extended period of time. So anyway, that's what we're using here. Man, I wish they'd shut that kit up. They say the gasket's reusable, but I don't know about that. We're going to go ahead and take it out and see if I can do this while I'm holding the camera. Still draining. You're going to repeat that process. Don't lose those bolts. I'm not sure if they're different lengths. I changed fluid in a Nissan the other day. They had all different lengths. I'll keep you posted on that, and we'll line them up and take a look at them. Bolts removed, with the exception of 1, 2, 3, 4 in the corners. Any fluid that you're changing in any vehicle, that's going to be the way that you do it. Fortunately, we have a drain plug in this instance, but we're going to just go ahead and loosen the front a little bit and loosen these back, drop it down, and try to get any excess fluid out of our drain plug. If you don't have a drain plug to work with, just kind of drop it down to one corner and do the same process. Loosen the rear bolts more. You can see just a little gap there. It's going to stick to the transmission, the pan is. Loosen this just a little bit, just to try to get just a little leeway. The back dropped. It did more or less what I wanted it to do, and it all came right out the back, and we spilled a little bit, but it's really marginal. So anyway, that seemed to work pretty well. What you're going to do at this point, try to loosen those rear bolts. As a matter of fact, I went ahead and took one out. Lift up on the front a little bit, and we're going to try to coax as much of that fluid out of there as we can, because that's going to make your life easier and your clothes last longer, and your wife a lot happier because she's not having to have all of her towels or whatever smelling like transmission fluid. We're going straight down with this pan. As you can see, there are some internals in the way. You don't want to get nasty with any of those things, break any of that kind of stuff. That's going to cost you a lot of money. You know, just loosen these. Now this all seems kind of, you know, it's going to be elementary to any kind of person with any kind of mechanical skills and so you know, so forth, what have you. But you know, if you're doing this for the first time, this can seem cumbersome. It's really not a big deal though. About that much spacing, and you have that kind of fluid drain and all that kind of stuff, you're going to push the pan back up and slowly take these bolts out. See, there's nothing dripping. There's no reason to just soak your driveway or your garage floor or any of that kind of stuff. And just pull those bolts out, gently let it down, and put it into the container. We're looking for any sort of metal or anything like that. There's no large chunks, but there is ever so slightly, just a little bit of debris. And around the magnet, these are probably pieces of clutches or what have you. So we're going to take all that, take the magnet off. You can get it with these gloves. May have to get a screwdriver under it or something like that. We're going to clean it all off. Now, another thing, on the forums and different things, there was a guy who said, oh man, I'm just doing a filter change and I'm not sure about this filter. There's nothing to hold it on. You know, and he's right. Usually they have a bolt or whatever to hold it on. There is nothing like that. But if you're looking, he was saying, I hope I got it snug and all that kind of stuff. It's got 4 tabs. That pan, once it's secure, it's going to hold that filter right up there. So as long as you get this filter in position, you're going to be just videos where people ramble on and on. I don't want to be redundant. However, just want to, you know, carry on with some thoughts. Now that's how I'm getting that off. No big deal. If you don't have a, you know, a pick, get a screwdriver or something, improvise. Not a big deal. Another thought. This thing was not leaking. I'm not going to peel that off. It's in position. We're going to wipe it down good and try to keep it intact. And then it's not cracked or anything like that. They say it's reusable. Fine. If it's up there and it's not leaking and all that sort of stuff, get the fluid off of it, clean it up very nice, and so on and so forth. And that way there's no misalignment when you put the bolts back in. If it comes off, not a big deal. I wouldn't use RTV or anything like that. They didn't do it from the factory, so it must be fine. Just, you know, leave it in position unless it won't stay. Then get a couple of bolts up through the pan, get it started on the pan, go from there. Should be fine. Gonna remove the filter. Looks like maybe just a gentle tug is all. Maybe I should use both hands. They say the O-ring can get stuck. Might have to get it out with our little pick that we had. What ended up happening inevitably, oh, we still got a little fluid coming out, is it's in this position. I kind of moved it side to side, kind of like that. Gently pull it out. Looks like our O-ring's still stuck in there. So always compare your filters. This is an AC Delco filter. That's what it says right there. This is this Power Torque whatever, PA66, or maybe that's fluid. I don't freaking know. Whatever. So the Power Torque had this on there. Twisted it off. I'm going to use my original gasket. These are the same diameter. It's not cracked. Instead of trying to damage something to get it out, I'm not going to do that. This should be sufficient. We're going to put it in. Now this one, the Power Torque is slightly larger, which is good. More filtration. It's got a steel bottom. It does not have those tabs, but I'm hoping that it will sit the exact same point, and that's exactly what we're about to check right now. Matter of fact, pull this out of the way. This goes in the trash. So on and so forth. We wipe it clean with a semi-clean rag. That kind of doesn't make sense, does it? I'll get a better rag. We're just going to, all intended purposes, just to see if it kind of sits there, and it does. It does fit in the excuse me. It does fit in the parameters of this little tray, this little valley that's in the pan. So it should be fine. Hopefully, fingers crossed. It did kind of bottom out, wiggled it some more. This is about the amount of clearance that you're looking at. You're going to make sure that it's not obstructed with any of this stuff. And of course, we're going to wipe off fingerprints and all that kind of stuff off the bottom. I've already wiped off the top. And then put the pan back on. I've already ran these up because I was in a hurry. Ran them up with the drill. This is the wolf tip of the day. Do not, and I repeat, do not over tighten these pan bolts. What you need to do is go from inside to out. You're going to work your pattern from the inside all the way out. Inside. Hold on, let me turn this one. Inside. 3, 4, inside. 5, 6, 7, 8, or cross pattern would be even better. 9, 10, work your way all the way out. Now, what I've got here, a little bitty ratchet. Yeah, I lost the glove, I know. Probably not the best place to start. Well, that one, these are all tight. I just tighten them with a drill. Now, I used it on the high speed setting, which is the lowest torque setting. So we're not over tightening these. We're just going to check them all, okay? We're not, matter of fact, I'm not turning them at all. Everything that we had was sufficient. Now we've got our plug back in. I have not tightened that yet. I'm just checking these. I'm not putting a lot of, oh, that one was loose. I forgot to tighten that. There you go. So my torque sequencing thing that I said was all wrong. But I'm confident that it's not going to leak. It's going to be fine. Gasket looked good. Everything looked good. Excuse me, getting my fat hand in the way. Now we're going to wipe her all down. I've just got this little pick tool, the same one I used earlier, and we're pulling out the top part first. We're going to try to pry it out without damaging anything. Maybe I need a screwdriver, or just be more patient. Seems like it's coming out. Middle part's out now. I think this is a two-hand even pull job. I'm going to try it with one. I'm going to try again, not to break it. And here it comes. It's coming. Wiggling it back and forth. Maybe the biggest pain in the butt of the whole thing. And got it out right after I shut the video off. Exactly what you saw. Just more wiggling back and forth. It pops right out. It's like a trim clip. The top part has to come out first, then the bottom part will come unseated. Well, we didn't have the right fluid transfer hose, so it's here in the hanger. I have taken out this bolt. This is actually the fill level that it's supposed to be on this transmission. So our hose is going in here on the transfer pump, coming down. We're going to put it into the full synthetic valve. I don't know, a third of it left. We transferred the hose to the lube guard. All right, on the filling procedure, you're going to want that drain plug out. Go ahead and start filling with a harbor-free transfer pump or something like that. Go ahead and fill it through the fill hole and until it starts to run out of the drain plug. Now, crank the vehicle. Continue to fill until it once again runs out of the drain plug. I ended up having to go to O'Reilly's again and get a couple more quarts of fluid. In totality, it took 7 1/4 quarts, so you're going to need probably 8 quarts. Go ahead and fill that. Now, this is not that big of a deal. It's a 3-mirror job. Again, I'm a shade tree mechanic, and if you have any doubt about the service procedure, seek the help of a competent professional. Hope this helped. Thanks for watching.